And before we got to you, Chris, we were talking about laughing gas and why the obsession with a crackdown on this. Why is laughing gas not a laughing matter?
Well, it's about tackling antisocial behaviour, which includes nitrous oxide or laughing gas. You know, antisocial behaviour blights some communities. Look, it has reduced in the last few years, but it still does cause a lot of concern amongst people. It makes people feel unsafe in their own communities. And sometimes it creates an environment in which worse behaviour can then later flourish. So we are committed to tackling antisocial behaviour. There's an action plan being launched by the Prime Minister in a couple of hours' time, which includes providing funding for hotspot policing, so police and others can patrol antisocial behaviour hotspots. It includes putting money behind immediate justice, so out-of-court disposals where people committing antisocial behaviour give an immediate publicly visible community service like cleaning up graffiti, and it also, as you say, includes a ban on nitrous oxide, because we think firstly there are emerging pieces of evidence showing that nitrous oxide can be harmful from a medical point of view. There have been some cases of people becoming paralysed when taking large quantities. It's very sort of early amounts of evidence, but it is there in small amounts. And then secondly, there's evidence that nitrous oxide consumption does fuel this antisocial behaviour problem that I've mentioned. People loitering around, taking this stuff, littering and creating a menacing atmosphere for other citizens who want to feel safe in their own neighbourhoods. So that's why we're taking action. I think we're right to do so. And I think the public will welcome the fact that this government is committed to clamping down not just on high-level, high-harm crime, but also on antisocial behaviour, because we want people to feel safe and secure in their own communities as they walk down the street and as they go about their daily business.
But, you know, in your own words, you've acknowledged this is a litter problem, a health problem. A lot of people would say this isn't something that the police need to be focusing. What would you say to those who say, let's talk about sex offenders being let off crimes just by saying sorry? The lead on the Daily Mail this morning, that's what they want to see police officers doing. They want to see police officers policing properly, proper crimes.
Well, the truth is we want to do both. We want to police the serious crimes, but we do also want to make sure people feel safe in their own communities. And people do say that, you know, if they feel unsafe or uneasy walking down their own street or going to their local high street or walking through their local park, you know, it's wrong that people feel sometimes unsafe or uneasy doing that. And it's right the government and the police take action to help people in those circumstances, as well as target, obviously, more serious crimes as well. That's why come the end of this month, in just a few days' time, we are on track to have more police officers than we've ever had at any time in this country's history. When we complete the recruitment of an extra 20,000 officers, we'll have more than we've had any time before, and those officers will be tasked with obviously investigating and prosecuting and preventing serious high-harm crime, but they're also going to be tasked with making sure we feel safe and secure on a day-to-day basis on high streets, in parks and our own streets.
Let's in your role as police minister, what would you say to the Children's Commissioner who today is coming out with this report showing that black children disproportionately more likely to be subjected to strip searches by police than white children?
Well, look, I'm going to study Rachel de Souza's report very carefully. I think I only received a copy of it from the Home Office team late last night. So I'm going to look at it very carefully. I'll take it very seriously indeed. See if there are any changes we need to make. I think the numbers I've seen suggest that over the last 3 or 4 years, there are on average about 2 strip searches per day. And very often they uncover drugs that have been hidden in intimate body cavities, and quite often the young people concerned, most of whom are boys, males, aged 16 and 17, very often they've been coerced into carrying drugs. So it's important to identify that where it's happening in order to safeguard those young people who may be at risk of exploitation. But look, I'm going to take this report seriously. I will study it carefully, and if we need to make changes, then obviously we will.
Children's Commissioner saying that the figures kept her awake at night. She found a lot of the findings disturbing. More than half of children were being strip searched without an appropriate adult present, some in cars, and some by people of the opposite gender. And it can't be right when these are legally children. They should be afforded protections, surely.
Yes, I agree, and there are current guidelines set out in the PACE codes, the
aren't being
Police and
followed.
Criminal Evidence Act 1984 codes, and if there's evidence that they are not being followed, I do take that extremely seriously, and I'll ask the police inspectorate to look into that, because where there are codes, they should be being followed. That's absolutely right.